Hello, and welcome back to RevHead. Yes, my name is Quad, and today we are going to be flipping a car. No, not this car, a new car. Well, a used car. You probably noticed if you caught the last video, I have a little bit of extra money than what I did in the end of that last video. That is because I already flipped a car, but it didn't go so swell. I mean, it went well. We got a profit, about $3,000 to $4,000 profit. But I was fumbling all over the place. I did not really understand how it worked. I didn't think it was making a good content, so I am going to be doing it again with a little bit better knowledge this time, so it should come out a lot better. So what we're going to be doing is we are going to be picking this Wale up here. It's a rusty 1977 Wal... I don't know how you pronounce it. I call it Wale, but it's like Walia V6. So we're going to be buying this one. It has a lot of miles on it. It's 4,200 bucks. The last one I did was the same car, but it was only $3,000. So this one's in a little bit better shape. But let's go ahead and grab it. And then once we grab it, we need to put this into the thing, but we're going to take this one out and bring it into the garage, and that'll automatically go over into the parking area. Now I do have the sound on, or the music on, this time around, so hopefully I don't get dinged for copyright issues. But we will see. Okay, first step though is we are going to give this thing a quick wash for $5, and then what we could do is we could do some body repair for $22.50, but we're going to save that for last, along with the paint job. We're going to paint it last as well. So first thing that we're going to do though is we're going to lift it up. Well, actually, before we do that, we're just going to look at everything. So there was already some water in there. It already has a bunch of fluid. It already has air in the tires, and it does have a little bit of fuel. So let's actually give this thing a start real quick and listen to it. There we go. We can't rev it, unfortunately. I am hitting my throttle on my pedal here. Let's just go ahead and turn it off. I'm going to go ahead and turn down the music just a little bit. It does seem a little bit overbearing, but there we go. Okay, so is it off? It is. Okay, so what we're going to do is lift it up, and we're going to basically strip everything off of it first. But before we do that, we are going to take a look and see how much it's worth. It is slightly less than what we paid for it, and we can kind of see the rest of the stats here. Indeed. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're just going to yank everything off. We could fix a lot of stuff as well with it on here. So the way this game works is basically you're going to click on your item. We could fix it right here, which we're going to go ahead and fix this rim up right away for $6. It turns it from 90% up to 100%. Now this tire is still new, but it's at 89%. We're going to leave that tire. I think the tire is fine. And if we right click, it's just going to back us up one page. We are going to go ahead and remove this rim, however. So there we go. You know what, just in case I get copywritten, I don't know, I'm going to just test it out and see if we get copywritten on the music, but I'm going to turn it all the way down for now. And then if I do get hit or dinged with it, we'll just be starting off right at this spot. Okay, so we got that tire off. Let's go ahead and remove the rest of the tires as well. Like I said, we could fix it here, or you could remove it, but once you remove it, you have to basically fix it in the inventory. So we're just going to fix it here before we remove it, and then remove it. Makes it a little bit easier. This tire here is a little bit more used. As you can see, it's at a 60% rather than the higher one. But let's go and fix this one for 18, and then we'll come around, get this last rim here, fix it for $3, and then we're going to remove it. Okay, next up, let's just go ahead and remove the exhaust system real quick. We can look at the tip. It is slightly used at 74%. We're going to fix it for the $10, and then we are going to go ahead and fix the mid pipe as well. And then we are just going to go ahead and remove it. Let's go ahead and grab off all of these hubs now. So one way to get to the hubs is you can click on it here, or if you click on the spring itself, it'll also bring up the hub. So let's go ahead and look at the control arm, fix that for $2. Fix this brake for $2.25, and then we are going to in fact fix this hub as well. And then here at the spring, we are going to fix that and then remove that whole spring. Now, since we did it that way, this rear suspension, the one that we just did, it basically already has all the parts already on it. So when we reinstall it, we won't have to fix it. Now, this other one that you see here, this is from the car that I previously built. I didn't fix this one, and I don't even think it is fixable, but this view, we can't really tell. Anyway, let's go ahead and remove this side as well. But first, we are going to go ahead and get everything fixed. Rear brake, check. Control arm, check. And then the actual spring. And then let's remove that puppy. Actually, I think I messed up. Let's take a look. Yeah, I never repaired the hub. So there we go. That hub is now repaired 100%. And then if we click on this one, we could also see that it is also at 100%. Awesome possum. Let's go ahead and do the same thing with this one. Like I said, you could either click the hub and do it right here, or you could just do it right with the spring. I find the spring to be a little bit better, but let's go ahead and fix this front spring. We're going to fix the hub, the front brake, and the control arm's already at 100%. So that's excellent. Let's just go all the way back out to the spring, get that puppy removed, and let's do the same thing on this side. So the spring, the hub, here we go. So the control arm, but here is a front brake that is actually not able to be fixed. It is completely broken at a 44%. Now, if you've been noticing, when we've been removing all of these, they've been going into the Wale box. This one here is going to automatically go into the trash box because it is not fixable, and you can't even sell it. It's so broken. So we're just going to remove it, throw it straight into that trash. Now, if we go back into this hub, we are missing that front brake. Let's see if we have any. Luckily, I do have a front brake that is still good. We have this bad front brake right here that we could install, but we don't want to do that. We're just going to go ahead and install this front brake right here. Now, it doesn't really match. This side is now a sport brake, where the other one was a regular brake, but for the sake of this car, it's going to be fine. Okay, let's remove the whole spring. Now, I do want to note, when you come to your inventory, this is going to show you everything here, and these are the boxes. So this is the car, this Wale down here is the car that we did work on before, that I did not show the recording for because I was fumbling around all over the place, and this box is the car that we're currently working on. I created this box over here. It's a parts to buy box. The reason why I created it is so when I removed them and I needed to buy them, I knew exactly where they were going to be and I didn't have to fumble about. But we need to go ahead and empty this box. So we could either sell the whole box, we could delete the box, or we could come through and sell each one or move these into different ones. So we could put this into the trash if we wanted, and if we come back out, it's no longer there. But we're not getting any money for these. There's no reason to keep these whatsoever, so we're just going to sell the box, right? And then if we come back out here, we can see the box is still there, but nothing is actually in the box. Okay, and then if we look at this, these are all the parts that I had from my other Wale. Right, indeed. So there's a lot of parts on here that are bad, like these front brakes here, that are not fixable. This is going to be something that I would want to probably sell. And then there's a lot of good parts here that are 100% as well. So we need to keep an eye on that when we're rebuilding this thing. But anyway, let's get the rest of the stuff removed. Here is the radiator and the cooling fan. The cooling fan is fixable, so we're going to fix that. And then we are going to fix the radiator and just completely remove it. The horn, it's at 100%. We're going to keep it and remove it. I just like to remove everything just so I know that I've touched it. We fixed that headlight. We are going to remove it and keep it in the same box. Actually, there's the other headlight right there. I'm going to fix that and remove it as well. Let's check out the battery. The battery is at 80%. It's still good. It's not fixable, but there's no reason to replace it because it's still an actual good battery, but we are going to go ahead and remove that. Next up, we're going to go ahead and just grab the steering wheel bits. It's at 100% gone. Here is the steering wheel control box, $2.40. We're just going to fix it and remove that. This is a fuse box at 100%. We're going to remove that. And here is a dash that has a speedometer, a tachometer, a fuel gauge, and an empty slot. but the actual dash itself is at 90%. So we are going to fix that, and we will be looking for a new part to go here in that little empty slot. Anyway, here we go. Let's just go ahead and remove this for now, just so we know we touched it. Let's come back to the back of the car. We're going to go ahead and check these lights out and fix them for 20 cents. Get them removed. This one's a little bit more damaged, but we're going to remove it. Here is a sway bar at 89%. Fix it, remove it. And then let's take a look at these control arms, or half shafts rather. They are fixable, so let's just fix them and get them removed. Here is the drive differential. There's a drive shaft on here that's at 90%. We're just going to fix it right away. Right click, and then we are going to fix the differential as well for 46 bucks. And we are going to actually remove it. Yes, you got that right. We are going to remove it. Next up, let's get rid of this sway bar. We're going to click it, fix it, remove it. So this car actually does not have a lot of problems to it. The last car had a ton of parts that was not fixable. Anyway, here's a clutch that could be fixed. There we go. And we are going to in fact fix the actual transmission itself and remove it. Okay, only thing that we have left now is the engine. Yeah, the last video that I made was actually a lot tougher than this because a lot of the stuff was non-fixable. Anyway, let's click on the engine. Now we could fix the block itself. It is a 6-cylinder block, right? A SV6, a V6 at that. Has 170 horsepower, 209 nanometers of torque, and there's the rest of the stuff. Anyway, we're going to fix it. 100%. There we go. Let's go through all the rest of these items. They're all in good shape, but they are all in like the 80% range. So we're just going to go ahead and fix everything on this. There we go. The filter is not fixable, but it is at 89% considered good. So we're not going to worry about replacing it or fixing it. We're just going to leave it as it is. We're just trying to make some money by basically buying a car, flipping it, and selling it. There's no reason to replace parts if they are still good, right? Oil filter, same thing, 86%, not fixable, also not worth replacing. Starter, fixable. Generator, which of course is going to be your alternator, which has the drive belt at 89%. It's in good condition. No sense of actually replacing it, but we are going to go ahead and fix that alternator. Next up, of course, is the thermostat. Fix that. We're going to fix the water pump. The spark plugs are not fixable, but they're also new at 95%, so there's no reason to actually replace them. The exhaust manifold fixed for $11 dues. Okay, well, that engine is completely fixed. We could remove it. We didn't need to, but we did. Now we're down to basically a base frame. Now let's go ahead and get everything put back on. Yeah, indeed. So first off, we're going to do the sway arm. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's go ahead and grab this differential, which has these two items on it. We're going to install it first, and then we're going to click on it again and click the half shaft. The reason being is if we do it this way and we try to install the half shaft before we actually install the engine or the differential, it takes you back out to this screen. So if we remove this half shaft again, right, say we install the differential first, then we come back to it, then we can add, oh, it still comes back out here. Never mind, I thought I found a shortcut, but never mind. It's still going to kick you back out as soon as you install it to this screen. It's fine, it's fine. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and hit this red dot. This is going to be for the shock or the rear suspension. Now, as you can see, this here is one that's not fully built, where this one is fully built. And the reason is it is basically pulling for all compatible suspensions, which means it's pulling from all the boxes. If we just click on this, it's only going to show those two boxes. But if we click on the other wall, it's showing you that suspension with the 81%. So when it's on this tab, it's going to be pulling from all boxes and show you all compatible suspensions. The only box that does not pull from, I believe, is going to be the trash one. As you can see here, it's broken at 41%. And then there's nothing in the parts to buy or favorite. So yeah, this tab here is going to pull from all available boxes except for the trash parts. Anyway, let's go ahead and put this rear suspension on. It has the good rear hub, the good rear brake, rear control arm. We could actually go ahead and put on the tires, but we are going to wait for that. So let's just put on the springs first. There we go. And then let's grab the spring on this side. Just kidding, that's a tail light. Here it is right here. And we are going to put that one on as everything is good inside of here. So install, bada bing, bada boom. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and get the tail lights on now. There's the left one, and here is the right one at 100%. This one was from the other car, but yeah, of course, we're going to do the one for the 100%. And I just wanted to show you could tell from that view that that light was not repairable. But if we come into here and we go to electrics, we can see this tail light here now, and if we click on it, you can actually fix it in this menu. So when you're actually building the car, you cannot fix it. That's why I fixed it before we removed it. But if we wanted, this is what tail light, the right tail light, we could fix this right here. And then if we would come back to this red right tail light and remove it, and then go to reinstall, now it's going to show both of them. But anyway, we're going to be picking this one, and then from this view, it doesn't show you which box it is in either. It just kind of pulls from all of them. Anyway, let's just go ahead and reinstall that. But yeah, that's why I decide to go ahead and fix it before I take it off. Otherwise, you can't fix it unless you go into your inventory. Anyway, let's continue on the front end here. What is this? This is for the sway arm. Our sway bar. Let's go ahead and get that installed. This is going to be the engine. We're not going to worry about that one quite yet. This is going to be the front suspension, and the hubs, control arms are all good. So let's get that installed. Same with this side. We're just going to go ahead and get this installed right away. Double check just to make sure. Right click and then install. Pretty easy, pretty awesome. This should be the headlights. So let's go ahead and put that left one in. Let's put this right one on. And then let's go ahead and get the radiator next, which is right here. It's at 100%. It has a 100% cooling fan. Install. And then we are going to go ahead and grab the dash next. Let's go ahead and get the steering box first, which is right here. 100% install. Let's get the steering wheel. Bada bing, bada boom. This is the fuse box. We're going to get that installed. Now this one here, we're going to go ahead and install it, but let's look at it again. We're still missing an instrument. So we could actually fill this up if we want. If we look at it, we could see there's a little dot on there, and then we'll look at it afterwards, but even when inside, it's not going to show, but we'll go ahead and pick up a part for that right now. We're just going to come into the ads, and then we're going to be looking under interior, I believe, and you can see all these different gauges. We're going to have to find one that's compatible with the Wale. Here's a used fuel gauge for the Wale, and there's a clock for the Wale, and also a small clock, which is the one that we're probably going to be needing. This one looks like it's a bigger clock. I don't know how they fit yet as far as the sizes go, and this is a small one. So we're going to go ahead and grab this one for the $99. Come back out, click on this, and we are going to get that puppy installed. It is at 100%, and there we go. Now we have a clock in the dash. It's pretty cool that it's completely customizable and you can move everything around, which is actually pretty nice. Anyway, let's get continued here. Over here is going to be our battery. It's still fine. We're just going to keep it. Same with this horn. We do have a bad one from the old car, but we're obviously going to put the one for 100% in first. And then let's go ahead and grab the exhaust system right here and get that installed. And then up next is basically, here's the gearbox, which we already looked at, is completely 100% for the clutch and the transmission. Get that installed, and next up is the engine with all of its good parts, minus the spark plugs and the oil filter, but they are fine enough. So we're just going to install that engine. Now all we have left is the tires and rims. Now before we do that though, we're going to go into the inventory. We're going to switch to this vehicle's box, which is this one. I actually clicked the wrong one. And look, we actually put the wrong taillight on. We put the taillight from the other car on. It's not a big deal, but like we said, we could take this off, and then if we put this one on, this is probably the right one. And then we go back to our box. Nope. Top one. Okay, there we go. Let's go back to the box. Never mind. Whatever. Anyway, this one here, we're just going to take out and we're going to put it back into that other box because there's no reason to have it in this box for this car. Anyway, let's take a look at all these tires. So this one has an 89% tire. Excellent. 90%. This one's a pretty used tire at 60%. And this one as well at 70%. So there's a couple things we could do. We could either just put these used tires back on there. I mean, you know, 60%, that's not the most horrible tread, but it's going to be a little bit bald, right? And if we wanted to get new tires, we sure in the heck could. But the thing is, we would have to look and see what size of rim these are. 200R17s. So if we wanted matching tires for these, which are 245R17s, you would come over to your list here on the far right, and here's the wheels and here's the tires. So we'd have to look for that specific tire, and most of all these are all set. So you're going to get all 4 of them regardless. That doesn't seem like you can actually just buy individual tires. Okay. Nah, mate, we're not going to do that. And I did want to note something I did not notice on the last one. For instance, here is a set of new front brakes. Here's this little tab. You always want to keep an eye on this count over here. So this is literally just for 2 front brakes. But if we look at this other one here, this one here just says set of new brakes. Okay, and that's something else that's pretty cool about this. If you wait too long on your current magazine, they can get sold and it will be gone. Somebody else will come through and buy them. But what I wanted to show is this one here says set of used sport brake, right? If we click on it, it says front brakes here, but look over here on the right, it shows 1 of 4. So you need to pay attention over here because this set includes all 4 brakes, not just the front or not just the back. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and just keep all the tires that we have on this rims. So let's go ahead and install, let's put the better tires in the front, and then we'll put the worst tires in the back. I think that'll make more sense. There we go. And then let's grab this one as well. There we go. There we go. So we basically completely rebuilt this whole car. Now visually, everything always looks the same. I don't notice, like on these tires, for instance, you can't really notice a tread difference, or if these parts are bad, you can't visually tell if they're bad. You do have to kind of click on them to find that information out. But let's take a look at our car real quick up here. It is now worth $5,000. I know that was a lot of work. We didn't make that much money off of it, but that's because we're not done yet. We need to do dent repair and then paint it. So if we look at it right now, it's worth $5,000. Let's go ahead and do the dent repair for $22.45. There we go. That brings it up to $9,000. So we basically gained $4,000 by paying a little around $2,300. Let's go ahead and paint it now. Should we just keep the original paint? Sure. Why not? And then all you have to do is you can click on this. You can change it to whatever color you want. So if you wanted like a cool orange, which nobody probably wants, let's turn it to this kind of blue color. And then if you come here, you could put stripes on them. The next one, you can change the color of the decals or whatever, and you could actually layer your decals as well, which is kind of cool, right? So right now we have all those checked, right? Or we could do switch it like this. We could leave them both on. It's pretty cool. It's pretty customizable. It doesn't add any extra to your overall cost. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to put Wale, and then we are going to put the double stripe on the front there, just like that. And then perhaps even color the top like that. I think that looks pretty cool. So there we go. And of course, you've seen that I changed the color of those right there. We're just going to leave it black. And then this one here, you could actually change the color of your rims. That does add an extra price to the total. It went from $490 up to $910. So we're not going to paint the rims. We're just going to leave them chrome or whatever color that is, white. But yeah, let's go ahead and paint it for 500 bucks. There we go. Now let's take a look at the car, and it brought it up from 9,000 up to 10,600. So that increased it quite a bit, $1,600 for a $500 paint job, which is pretty awesome. Now, next up, I don't think so let's remember 10,600. I don't think adding fluids and all that does anything. Let's go ahead and remove some of this fuel, just to keep enough in it. We got our jerry can completely full right here. And if we look at it, it's still worth the same. So fuel doesn't change your prices, but I do like to keep my jerry can nice and full. We are going to take a look at the tires. This button here fills all your tires up to the exact same pressure. So if you wanted the rears slightly lower, you could come over here and do that independently from each other. So yes, that is a thing. Now the oil, of course, this is bad oil. We're going to go ahead and swap it out with some medium grade oil. And there we go. And I don't think it changes the value. It does not. Oh, actually it did. It brought it up by, I think, $10. I think it was at $6.30 before. Anyway, let's go ahead and fill up the coolant. We've already given it a wash when we started. The battery is doing okay. We can give it a charge though. There we go. The battery is now fully charged. Just out of curiosity, let's see if that changed the percentage of the battery. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, it does not. It's still at 80%, but at least now it is at a full charge. Okay, so let's see. How much did we have when we started? I don't remember. I think we were at 17 or 18,000. I think it was 18,000 and something. So we're at 11,000 now. That means we've basically put 7,000 into this thing. And if we look at it, we could sell it for 1040. Before we do, we're going to go ahead and give it a start. And there we go. There we go. Yeah, it doesn't rev, unfortunately, right now, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and turn it off. And yeah, we're just going to leave that as this. This is basically just a kind of way to show exactly how easy the building mechanics can be on this. This video took about a half an hour. My first video was about an hour and a half, and we kind of did the same thing, except for the last one. I had to buy a bunch of parts throughout this catalog, which was fine in itself. And I don't think we forgot to buy anything. I think we got everything that we needed. And as you can see, since we used all the parts out of that one box, this box, it actually disappeared. So yeah. So this here, for instance, what I should be doing through this is going through and selling everything, and or at least removing some of these parts that are good, right? So what we could do here, for instance, if we come back out to this page, we're going to create a new box. We're going to call it Wale Create, and it's just going to be a Wale by itself. Oh, actually, that box is still there. That's because I accidentally put that last part into that box. Anyway, let's put that part back into this regular Wale part, and now this one is empty and it deletes. Now we're going to come back into here and just grab anything that is good on this car and go ahead and move it to the good box. There's a right tail light. There we go. And then we'll double check all these and see if they can be repaired as well. But okay, so that's all there is. Let's just double check everything. So non-repairable, we could sell it. Non-repairable, non-repairable, same. This one as well, it's not repairable. These rims are not repairable. They're all at a fairly low percentage at 68% and so on. Non-repairable, non-repairable, and non-repairable. So basically this whole box can be sold. Before we do that though, we are going to in fact just sell this car. So let's go ahead and sell this car real quick. And bam. Oops, not quite yet, but There we go. Bam. We've made quite a bit of profit. Now what we can do is go through this box that we have here for the Wale DAW V6, and we're just going to sell the whole box. That gave us an extra 500 bucks or so. And then if we come back out, that box is no longer there. And then we moved all of our good Wale parts into our Wale box that we created. So easy peasy lemon squeezy. But now we're up to $22,000, where when I started before these two cars that we just flipped, I was at 15,000. So between two cars, I was able to make about $7,000, which is pretty excellent. So anyway, that's going to be it for this one, you guys. The next one, however, we will in fact get this car, since I now know how to actually repair cars and how that whole system works. The next video, we're going to be repairing this car up to par or as new as possible, and then we're finally going to take a race, and then yeah, we'll get into a little bit more in the next episode. Anyway, that's it for this one, you guys. Thank you for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and of course we'll see you guys in the next one later on, everybody. Later on.